In this lesson, let's continue to work on the engine. So we've got some detail added. Now let's start to kind of cut apart this engine so that we can access the different parts and add some resolution without bothering some of the other areas. So I'm going to go ahead and select basically just the top section here all the way around in the center, just these faces. Go ahead and select those. And then I'll grow the selection to get that entire section. So I'll hit Shift, period, a couple times to get that whole piece there. And now I'll go ahead and extract that to make that a separate piece. Alright, so now I can just deal with this piece itself. And so now I'm going to take, again, these faces, and I'm going to stop partially, part of the way down here. So I'm going to stop right here and just get those faces, and we'll create another little detail in here. Let's go ahead and extrude those, and let's scale those in just a little bit, and we can come up here and move these points around to get them a little bit closer to where we want them to be. If your extrusion, if you don't have quite the amount of control over it that you'd like, over the exact placement of the points. Alright, and now I'm going to select those new faces that I've just created all the way down here, just those new faces. Alright, now let's go ahead and extrude those. And this time we'll again scale this in just a little bit, just slightly. And now let's extrude it again, and this time let's pull it up. Okay. So if we smooth that, you can see you get that sort of a detail on the top there. I'm going to undo that, so I still have this selected. If I extrude that again and then scale it in again, I can get a little bit more of a sharpness on that edge. Okay, I can start to get a little bit more detail in there on the engine. I also want to add some sort of little vent detail underneath here. So I'm going to smooth everything out. I'm going to bring in just a polygon cube, and I'm not going to do any sort of smoothing on this at all. I just want to kind of bring it up into position, change back to my world move settings. And let's go ahead and pull it back in here. And I just want kind of a strip, polygon strip here. So I'm going to make sure I move it where I can see it. Make it kind of the width of this circle here. And I'll make it a little bit taller. And it's just basically straight up and down. I'm going to start it kind of right back here. And now I want to create just basically a whole bunch of these. So I'm going to go ahead and go to Duplicate Special. Alright, and I'm going to move those 2 units. And let's go ahead and make maybe 60, see what that looks like. Go ahead and apply that. And see, that's too many, so we dial that back down to 50. And maybe even 45. Something more like that. So it's kind of at that transition just around the circular area, so it doesn't have to go up here. So I'll make it maybe 42. Okay. Now if you want to, you can kind of move those back. Now obviously we need to rotate them as well, so I'll go ahead and group those together. Go from the side view, and we'll just center the pivot and rotate that as a group, and then move it down. Okay, so you can see now that it's intersecting, so you could either take the individual pieces here and scale them down so that they just fit inside there. That's one way to do it. You could also go in to Animation, Create Deformer, and create a lattice, and use the lattice to do that. You can see some of these, if you don't have a lattice that's high enough resolution, will tend to be cut off. So you can change the resolution in here, do 4 by 4 by 4, so we can do maybe 6. And that'll give us a little bit more control. You just scale those in, and then all the way up here. Can scale those in, and then this row as well, just so that it's inside there. And we can take that whole thing, delete the history, freeze our transforms, and let's go ahead and move it down just a little bit. Down inside there. Okay. And now if we want to create sort of a cover over this that kind of partially covers this, we can go to our top view, and we'll just go to back to polygons, and let's go ahead and go to our create polygon tool right here, and I'm just going to draw out a polygon, and we can go to wireframe and see that, and just something that will fit this sort of loosely. Draw it back here. Go ahead and hit enter. Then I can move those vertices around. Let's go ahead and bring that polygon up to where it belongs first. Up to the top. And center our pivot. You can see it's been drawn straight across, which is fine. I just want to match up this line with the line of the center portion of our engine. Okay. Alright, we can rotate that down if we want to. Match it up a little bit better. Kind of move it down. Let's reverse our normals. And we want to draw across here so that we have some resolution in here. We don't just want one big n-gon. So I'm going to go ahead and drag across and just sort of connect these up. We'll connect up these. Just pull that down there using the split polygon tool. Okay, so we've got a couple of triangles there on the end, which we can just kind of put a line in the center. Now, if you want to create sort of a notch out of here, you can start to add some resolution in here. Come in and start to delete some of these faces, just to add a little bit more interesting detail in here. You can maybe delete this one and this one. Okay, and you can leave this as a polygon if you wanted to. Turn off wireframe. You could leave that as a polygon. You could also leave it. You don't necessarily need to give it thickness if it's going to be kind of right on top of those vents. I would say it doesn't necessarily need any thickness. Okay, and then you just mirror that, or duplicate it over to the other side. All right, so let's go ahead and in the next lesson, there's a few more parts of the engine that we want to take care of. So let's go ahead and take care of those in the next lesson.